Ladies and gentlemen, apologize for the interruption, but I do have a correction to make. You see, in the upcoming video, I state that the fire started on Monday morning. That's not correct. The fire started on Tuesday morning, which is why the high winds on Tuesday were able to get the fire to, the extent that it became. That's not a big deal, but we here at Englebrook News take getting the facts right very seriously. So just wanted to let you know I made a mistake. It's Tuesday morning, not Monday morning. Enjoy the show. Welcome, everyone, to a science rundown tonight. We have some news for you that isn't actually very good, unfortunately. You see, there's a wildfire in New Jersey that's been burning since Monday morning, and it's consumed over 15,000 acres, or about 24 square miles. As of now, there haven't been any deaths, and there hasn't been any major damage either. Um, just a couple of buildings, only one of them commercial. This is because the fire is taking place in Ocean County in what is known as the Pine Barrens, which is a not so densely populated area that is, as it sounds, very much made of pine trees. Uh, this fire started Monday morning at about 9:45 a.m. That's when a fire tower noticed a pillar of smoke coming from the area and was able to start dispatching firefighters at that time. This was in the Greenwood Forest Wildlife Management Area. So, again, an area that is not going to be inhabited by a lot of people. Even still, 5,000 residents in the area had been evacuated. They have since returned to their homes, and power has been restored to much of the area, though JCPL, the power company, is still working on a number of cases. There's also still an advisory about air quality considering the amount of smoke that's been put up into the air. So, once the fire started Monday morning, it became difficult to contain for a number of reasons. For one, there were 25-mile-an-hour winds on Tuesday, and that really spread the fire. So the reason why it wasn't able to be contained between Monday and Tuesday is an ecological one, which is why this is a science episode. You see, the Pine Barrens have a very special kind of ecosystem. It's very sandy soils, and it's predominantly covered by a species called pitch pine. Now, pitch pine is part of what we call a fire adapted ecosystem, which means that it does need fire is part of its life cycle. So, for example, pitch pine cones in these areas are often covered with a thick resin, and that resin can only be melted by fire, and that's the only way that the seeds of the pine cone can actually reach the soil. And once the fire has gone through that area and those seeds are in that burned out area, they can now colonize that open space that is now devoid of vegetation. The pitch pine themselves, the trees themselves, have very thick bark to protect against fire, and even after being scorched pretty badly, they can still manage to sprout new growth through epicormic branching, which is branching out of the trunk rather than out of the limbs, the twigs, and the branches. So you have an ecosystem that is used to being burned, but not at a lesser scale. And then you also have drought conditions. So the rest of New Jersey, or I shouldn't say the rest of New Jersey, people in northern New Jersey will think about the last couple weeks and think about how much rain we got. It was quite wet for us. The Pine Barrens was a bit of a different story, and that might be due to the fact that it's on the coastal plain, and so winds from the ocean are much more likely to affect it than they are to affect the more hilly and mountainous north. So you have a bonfire that was set for who knows why on a Monday morning. The person who set the bonfire didn't put it out fully, left, and then the forest caught on fire. And then on Tuesday, the winds drove that fire to the extent at which it is today. It's kind of a recipe for disaster. Firefighters have said that they now have it 60% contained. Contained is a little bit different than controlled. Controlled means that the fire is out. Contained means that what the firefighters have done is they've gone around the perimeter of the fire and created an area that is clear so that the fire can no longer spread or possibly jump forward. They're at about 60% today, and they expect that it's going to take another couple days before the fire's fully contained, and then probably a few more days after that before the fire's fully out and controlled. Um, it's not as devastating as the other wildfires have been, simply because there is no human loss of life, and there haven't been very many buildings threatened either. Though it did shut down the parkway for a couple of hours, or quite a few hours actually. Um, if you don't know, the New Jersey Parkway is one of the main highways, and it runs along the coast. So this wildlife management area and the surrounding pinelands being adjacent to the coast, this created a problem for traffic, and it had to be rerouted for some time. It's now open, but again, you're still going to see lots of haze from the smoke and a lot of particulate matter. So it's not the situation's better, but it's not good. Uh, Going back to the fire itself, how it started, there's a lot of questions here. Why was somebody having a bonfire on a Monday morning in a wildlife management area in the Pine Barrens during drought conditions? This is right now, firefighters have said these are peak fire times for the Pine Barrens. Now, usually the fires that the Pine Barrens experience are quite small. This is quite large, and this is the second largest in over 20 years, where there was one in 2007 that had burned 26 square miles. Again, very large fire, and that one was much more damaging to homes and other buildings. But I cannot wrap my head around why somebody would be burning a stack of wooden pallets in a wildlife management area, which is a state-owned forest land that is primarily used for hunting purposes, hence wildlife management area, managing the populations of wildlife. As to my knowledge, there are no fires allowed in wildlife management areas. Even in the state parks, anybody who's gone to a state park in New Jersey will know that there are some state parks that don't allow fires at all, let alone just in the middle of the woods. So there was an apprehension of a 19-year-old man by the name of Joseph Kling of Waretown, the Waretown being one of the towns that this fire has been ripping through. Uh, We don't know why he started this fire. We don't know if this was just um, really poor choices, if was on purpose. There's nothing to indicate anything at the moment. And at the moment, prosecutors and law enforcement are declining to answer questions or to speculate on anything going forward. So hopefully the firefighters will be able to have this under control within the next few days and have the fire out completely, and we can get some rain, get that area wet down a bit and then move on. And if this Joseph Kling is guilty of setting this fire, I would like to know why he did it. What was happening here? And I know it's going to be a stupid answer. I know there's not going to be a good answer. But just I guess for closure, I just would like to know. And being a New Jerseyan myself, filming this in New Jersey, and as someone who loves going through the Pine Barrens, the coastal areas, and all the New Jersey state lands, this really bothers me. It's just so stupid and pointless and unnecessary. But at least we can say no one has died that we know of. So at least there's a little bit of a copper lining there, if you will. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. I will have more for you this weekend and next week. So stay tuned. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe.